Alright, hello everyone, I'm Kazo and I play video games, and I sometimes play video games with a timer next to them, and today I'm gonna do exactly that with PUSS for you. I'm not as stressed as I expected, to be honestly, which is good because my hands aren't shaking too much, which would be exceptionally bad because PUSS is a game of mouse precision. And by the way, there was the epilepsy warning right there on the screen. Please don't ignore it because in this game, I can't really warn you before flashing scenes will appear on the screen because this game is just purely flashing scenes. So please keep that in mind. Please be very careful because I don't want any kind of negative commentary on me. Okay, I had a bid war on which skin should I use in the game. Can you tell me which one won? Censored skin, okay. That's gonna remind me that I should be careful about saying things when I have bad RNG or something because this game is pure RNG, but I hope it won't go too bad. Okay, so let's get this started in 3, 2, 1, and... Alright, pay attention to these first few levels because if I get good RNG, they might go very fast. Okay, this isn't very fast. But I'm trying to abuse a certain mechanic that can appear in here if I'll get a good level to show it off. For example, this one. So what exactly happened here is that the PUSS is trying to be where my mouse is. It's not exactly in the same place. So I can abuse the fact that it can't cross the walls to push myself towards the level exit if it's close to the wall. So, for example, that first level you've seen on the screen had the shape of a square. So what I did there, I just made a huge circular movement to draw the edges of that square so that PUSS, trying to follow my mouse, had to be pushed into the level's exit. These things that look like kind of these Windows shortcut thingies. I wonder if anyone recognizes this one. I don't really want to say what it is, but it's a very, very old reference to a very, very old, scary Flash minigame. But if my timer won't be too bad, okay, now it's bad. I'll explain what timer is in a while, but I really can't do that slide right there. I mean, abusing the walls, I call that sliding. There are no names for strats in this game per se, mostly because there's only, according to speedrun.com, there's one active runner for this game, which is me. The second runner ever for this game is Arctin. Shout out to him, by the way, because thanks to him I've been able to understand some glitches in the game, which I'll be using, but this will come further during the second boss fight, I believe. But we are slowly closing on to the first one with kind of good RNG for the levels, because what exactly you see here aren't the same levels every single time, because every chapter, for example, now we're in chapter which is called World 1, every chapter has its own level pool. So, okay, that's bad RNG, bad cycle I mean. Every single chapter has its own level pool, and it's something like, I believe that it's first 2 levels choose from a single pool, then next 5 levels choose from a different pool, and the last few levels choose from the remaining pool. It's kind of difficult for me to describe because I don't fully understand it myself, even though I played this game for too long. But this is pretty much the only thing I can say about this game because please don't ask me about the plot. It's difficult. It's just, this game is just an experience, and enjoy it like this because I can't explain what exactly will be happening here in around a minute on World 1-10. Right, this one's fairly simple. I just have to avoid these projectiles because projectiles kill you instantly. They don't really have this. They don't really use the same timers as walls use. Oh, and by the way, I didn't explain what timer is. This game has an internal timer which counts for how long have you been touching a dangerous area for. And by dangerous area, I mean like a wall, lava, a gap, or whatever else. So you can, by playing this game long enough, you can kind of understand how long does the timer is at certain points of the level if you touch it for short enough or long enough or too many times. So it's kind of intuitive in my case. And here I'll try to skip a few first lines of the dialogue. The perfect timing for that is when the mouse cursor appears on the screen, because if you start mashing space or mouse buttons too early, the inputs just aren't registered for whatever reason. But if you start mashing right after the cursor starts appearing, that's the perfect moment to skip dialogues. Okay, so here's our first boss. Obviously, we're gonna fight a dog, one of the most challenging breeds ever, which is obviously Chihuahua Cerberus. It's not a Cerberus yet, but if I perform this first damage-dealing phase correctly, which I'm using my thigh for because it's way easier for me to mash the mouse like this, because you have to click in here. Sorry for the bitrate, by the way. I have no idea how is it handling the game, but What I'm doing here is I'm trying to click very fast, but not too fast, because if you click too fast, not all your clicks are gonna get registered, and he won't deal enough damage to kill him within 2 phases. But as I see here, his HP is close to C, which is very good, so I'm definitely gonna do it. Unless I will do something exceptionally wrong, which might happen, but the chance is just way too low. I don't really care too much about lives in here. As long as I have more than 15, the second boss fight is gonna be very easy, so I just smash myself through all these projectiles, laser, whatever else I can, just to collect the PUSS as fast as I can. Here's the last one, and let's do it. And there we go, that's the first boss fight. Okay, so now that you've seen all that, I believe you are all starting to understand what exactly is happening in the game, because I don't really want to state the obvious. We have to talk with this elderly ghost cat, which tells us to collect the keys to unlock this gates to hell, and I'm gonna make this chapter 1 by 1 with a certain routing, because I just leave the chapter which adds like a few seconds for the last. This is actually a very difficult level, because what you need to do there, first try, that's good. What you need to do there is a perfectly horizontal movement right between all these teeth in order to do it faster. You can do it normally, but it takes like 15 seconds, but with that strats it takes like maybe 2. But you just need to be very confident of your mouse movement right there, because if it's not almost perfectly horizontal, you're just gonna smash yourself into these teeth or walls in the end of the corridor. Here I just try to use that last cycle to match myself here, and there we go. I have a very good RNG with all the levels, except for World 1-8, because that one was slow. But here, these are pretty easy to do and pretty comfortable on speedruns, because they don't take too much time and they are not too risky. Sometimes you might get a bad RNG with these projectiles on that level when they block this diagonal corridor, but it's not too bad. Here, sometimes if you're playing casually and you're not confident, oh my. If you're not confident, it's actually easier to start this level by just smashing yourself to a wall and dying, because that makes less projectiles appear on the screen, less these squares appear on the screen for a while, so you can then make it faster. And these 2 moving corridors right there, that was very good RNG. These 2 moving corridors right there on that level with the red squares, they are possible to cross, but I never did it. There's a time slowing power-up, which you can collect after you beat one boss in this game, but it's not really too useful in speedruns because it just slows you down. So it's basically, when I'll start getting it, it will basically be an additional projectile I have to avoid. So I'm doing this later on the run. And obviously, I'm not gonna spoil which thing are we gonna be fighting right now, but I'm gonna need Bless RNGs soon. I'll tell you exactly when I'll need them, because if I won't have enough Bless RNGs, I'll have bad RNG, obviously. So I'll just be begging you to... Oh my, corners are deadly. Because what happened here, the reason I died, even though my timer was pretty good right there, is because if you somehow touch a corner perfectly in this game, you just die instantly. There's no timer for wall corners for whatever reason. 1-8. Right, this level is extremely interesting because, as you see, this portal here is leaving through the edge of the screen. It's gonna appear on the other side, and normally what you need to do here is to wait somewhere in, like, to the left, to the right side of the middle part of the screen to wait for it to stretch right here and enter it from there. But you need to realize that it's not disappearing once it leaves off the screen, so you can use that corridor right here to move off screen and slide yourself, not like this, to the portal, but I'll try to do it again. It really saves a lot of time because normally this level takes like maybe 30 seconds, and if you do it correctly, it's like 15. But that slide needs to be almost perfect because that corridor is like 3 turns right there, so let me try this again. Oh my god, this is not too good. Give me a while. I've practiced this so many times. I always do it first try, but obviously not my marathon luck is waiting for me here. But hopefully I'll use that when I'll be having my third boss fight, which is entirely RNG, and you can beat it within a single cycle if you're lucky, and within 2 cycles if you're... Okay, there we go. You shouldn't be clapping here, that was supposed to be easy! But okay, it's good enough. I actually hate this level because I always smash myself towards these moving walls and I can never do it fast. For whatever reason, I can't read it too correctly. But okay, there we go, and the last ones. Alright, so right now I need as many blessed RNGs as you can squeeze in the chat without angering the mods, because we'll be fighting literally an embodiment of RNG, the thing that always wins, and I'm gonna prove that I'm the only one who can beat it. Which is obviously the casino, and here is the most RNG part of the run. This is the reason why I do this boss as the first one, and 2 POWs is the best RNG we can get. Okay, that's 1 POW, which isn't bad. 1 POW is good enough because you need POWs to see POWs on the screen. And whatever else is chosen, for example, right now I have cherries and plums, and they're gonna start appearing. And the game forces you to spin, but since I have these much life, like 23 already, I don't really want to spin, so these lasers are gonna just keep killing me and killing me and killing me. And what I'm trying to do here is I want to damage this leftmost angel as much as possible, right? Like just before he'll have like maybe 1 HP, because that's required for the glitch to then kill 2 angels, I mean, with a single laser. So I need to collect 5 POWs more in here. I skipped 1. That's second one. Third one. It might be difficult to read, but my eyes are just used to it. Okay, I have to die in here because if you die while shooting the laser, the game will just force you to deal more damage, and then you'll kill the angel, and it's exceptionally bad because then the leftmost slot is broken and you have only 2 slots to spin for POWs, and you have to spin there. So I think that's good enough. Let me just collect 5 POWs and kill 2 at once, then we'll have to finish off the casino. So that wasn't too bad. The best RNG you can get is 2 POWs. 3 POWs are bad because what you get, there we go. What you get instead is just a full-powered laser, but no POWs are falling if you get 3 on the slot machine. So you want 2 to be able to collect them. And now we have to finish up the casino. I mean, no, I'm sorry, that's not the casino, that's Super Red Hot Jackpot Lucky 777, obviously. And there we go, that was perfect. And please never try this at home, and never try this at the casino. I'm a professional, so you can trust me. And here we get some help from... He's called the JC in the credits, so we can choose who's better, CJ or JC. Godspeed, little cat. And I forgot to skip the dialogue, by the way, but it's not so bad, it's just like 1 or 2 seconds. But I think that now that you've seen all that, you're all beginning to grasp what exactly is the plot here. I mean, obviously you have to reach hell and beat the demon right there. Let me see if I can do this movement. Okay, I'll probably cancel. Let's do it normally. Because the best way to do it would be obviously to make a perfectly horizontal movement to the right and then enter the portal. But the problem with it there is that it's not touching the wall, so we can slide there. Or you can, but it's slightly risky because your hitbox isn't big enough. So you need to be aware at all times where exactly your mouse is and where PUSS is trying to reach your mouse. This is the slowest level of the game, thank you. Every time I play an RNG heavy game, and I typically play RNG heavy speed games, what I say is that I love these games, but they don't love me in turn, so. I just have to hope that this middle projectile, oh, there it is not gonna be blocking this timer for too long, because then I'll have too much time wasted. And these platforms on the right there are lowering a little bit too fast sometimes for you to reach them while the middle projectile is blocking the timer. So that was pretty good. That's only 30 seconds, obviously. Why would I be mad at the slowest level in the game? Hopefully I won't get it twice or 3 times, because it's possible. Oh my, corner. Nice. But the JC protects us. What we get for beating the casino is a protective bubble, which essentially gives us a free life for every level. And here I have to be very careful not to die, because these platforms always have the good cycle if you use your first life. But if you die for whatever reason, they desynchronize and you have to wait like 30 seconds before you will be able to cross this first water right there. But that was pretty good. And also at the same time, now I've noticed I have to be pretty careful not to move my mouse away from the screen because that's actually a thing in here. Well, that's good enough. Okay, oh wow, that was close. And I'm not really sure what's my timer right now, but I think it should be good enough for me to slide that last part in here. So I'll do this. There we go. Actually, the faster you play this game, the easier it is at the same time, because then you get more lives for the time bonus. And here I want to be very fast to reach this timer before this quarter will reach here, because if I don't, I would have to wait like maybe 15 to 20 seconds, I believe. I'm definitely overestimating that and exaggerating, but it's still fine. As long as I do it first time every time, it's fine. Let me open these 4 gates in here. I don't really need to open them all the way, but it makes it much more consistent in my case. I can't really read projectiles which are coming from all sides too well. This is why I don't really play bullet games where you control character by keyboard, but mouse is good enough. And Simsalabim level, which is pretty interesting as well because I can skip like a half of it. By standing in that corridor right here, you can just make a slide here right between the eggs. Okay, now I'll let you guess what's the next boss, because obviously these were pretty easy to guess so far. So what I'm doing here, I'm just using these gaps to cross them faster because they are actually not dangerous, except for this one. You can do the same here. Here I'll press this exclamation mark, die once to move the level by like 2 seconds forward and enter this fight. On some levels it works, on some it doesn't, but when you die, the game sometimes moves like a second or 2 forwards. And I'm gonna use it in certain points. The first one was here, and the second one is gonna be, I think, the second to last boss fight. There we go. I'm sorry that you can't hear these wonderful Microsoft Sam-like voices, but it's fine. I need to be extremely careful during this fight because what can happen here is whenever you die, you essentially respawn in the same area you died in. So since the priestess's hitbox is bigger than yours, you can essentially get stuck in there and lose life by life by life by life until you just lose all of them. That was very good RNG with 5 spikes. Oh my god, nice. There we go. And then what you need to do here, once you get her hit by, I think, 7 spikes, you need to damage her with her own eyes, which are obviously heavy RNG, and sometimes they might softlock outside of the screen, but it's not bad. That was quite a bit of damage. But right now the spikes aren't too good. And every time you die, not only you have a chance to get stuck into her hitbox, but every time you die, there's a very big chance that she's gonna make a single attack, which obviously just takes time. There's no way you can deal damage to her during this phase. And sometimes when you're extremely unlucky, she might shoot these projectiles twice during the spinning laser phase, so it depends. But that was not too bad so far. Right now I'm standing very close to her, but not close enough to potentially get stuck in order to maximize the damage dealt. I think this phase should be the last, or maybe I'll be able to deal some damage to her and then finish her off with spikes, which wouldn't be too bad still. There is something I might use, which I have no idea how it works exactly because I never managed to reproduce it, but sometimes when you die during this damage dealing phase, they shoot these projectiles for much longer, but right now it didn't happen. Right now they shot it for much shorter, but sometimes it just happens and I wish I knew how exactly does it work. Okay, there we go. That should be the last one, then maybe 2 or 3 spikes. I'm gonna deal some damage and that's gonna be it. Go, give me these 2. 3. Okay, barely, but it still got it. Oh, come on. Okay, at least she's not using this attack when she's bouncing off walls, because that's the worst one. That's the easiest one to get stuck in her in. But these lasers aren't so bad, so I probably shouldn't be complaining. That's still better than just losing the run. Oh, come on. RNG. Thank you. There we go. That should be the last one. There we go. And the reward we get for beating her is the princess, which occasionally throws us hearts to collect on the levels, which aren't too useful during speedruns because you just don't have time to collect them because they fall in random places, but she's gonna be extremely helpful during the last boss fight. It's not obligatory, but if I'll have less than maybe 13 lives before the last fight, it's gonna be pretty dangerous, so I'll need her help, but more than 20 is typically very safe. There we go, perfect movement right here, right here. Oh, that was not too good. There we go. Because what happens here, if you move too fast or too slow in some segments of this level, these piston-like things just smash you. But instead, what you can do instead is just a perfect vertical movement up there to skip all of these. Oh, thank you so much. Hopefully this is the last time we see this. And hopefully the projectiles won't be too bad, but this one is already exceptionally bad. Okay, there we go. Because when they align themselves, you have not too many pixels to squeeze yourself through. Because PUSS has something what I would describe as maybe 2 hitboxes, because there's a different hitbox for movement, and there's a different hitbox for actually getting damaged. So sometimes you can squeeze through areas which will damage you normally because the corridors are so narrow, but you can still move through them. So like I could say something like the movement hitbox is a little bit smaller than the normal damage hitbox. Let's try to do the perfect movement here. 1, 2, there we go. The second one, 1, 2, and the third one, there we go. That was very fast. Okay, I originally hated this level until I finally learned how to read it, because I was never able to grab so many squares moving up and down at the same time and bouncing from these moments, from these parts of the level, not really moments. But it's good enough. Here it only depends on RNG. This middle is extremely obnoxious if you're playing casually, because this dolphin just covers the screen. And let me squeeze here, make the slide, there we go. Right, this again. This last slide right there is actually very risky because there are maybe 4 or 6 corners on which you can get stuck on. Normally this one level takes around 30 to 40 seconds to cross because you have to wait for all these lines, but this lava here is actually safe to cross if you're fast enough, so you can just do this and skip the entire level. I'm sorry. Right, simsalabim once again, so we know what am I about to do. I'm speaking too fast. Typically, I do that when I'm stressed. The more nervous I am, the more I speak because that calms me down somehow. But then the faster I speak, my tone gets twisted, and I'm even more nervous. That's typically what happens. Okay, so right now we're gonna fight with the one and only. I can't really say what, you have to guess. There we go. Because we are about to free this guy, which would normally be able to help us during casual playthrough, but it's very rare. Because he has a very specific power, which I can describe right now because you're not gonna see it in the round anyways. What he's supposed to do when you have, I think, less than 4 or 3 lives, he can appear during a boss fight to make you scratch him in the back, and then he deals damage to the boss, which isn't too much and might help during certain boss fights, even during a speed run. But the thing is, you can't really predict when is he gonna appear or not. So here we are gonna fight with the guy who is simply called the best creation. The fight which was the most problematic for me during casual playthrough because I had no idea how to play bullet hells, but right now it's just simple. Except for the phase which is right before you deal damage to him. Sorry. So hopefully he won't attack me from the sides with his fists, because if he does that, he might just sometimes skip a single phase, because what I need to do here is use his fist to press... Oh no, never do this! What I need him to do is to attack from above, because sometimes what might happen, he might just simply skip a single phase while he's attacking with his fists. And if that happens, your run suddenly can like extend by a minute. So I need to read everything correctly here because this phase can be exceptionally slow if you do it wrong. But that should be not... Oh my god, no, wait, that's very bad. 1 second, I need to figure out where I need to stand in here. Oh my god, that's why it's so bad. But maybe if I'll go with this one, I'll be able to cross it fast enough. Oh, please go up. No. Maybe? Oh my god, okay, that's the last one that was left. But that was bad about it, because I didn't really want to risk and smash myself through a corner, because even if I would collect, I mean, press that last light during, I think, what is the 36th second of that phase, I might softlock. So I really don't want to softlock here right in the end of the chapter. So I prefer to play it safe and get to that phase the second time and then press it, because I might still have marathon luck and kill him with a single phase. Which only happened... Oh, that was so fast. No, never do this. And just like that, he might skip the phase. But maybe the game won't be too bad for me. Okay, there we go. That's very good. Okay, now I need to follow one of these, I think. Okay, I can squeeze through the corner here, press the last one, there we go. And hopefully I can slap him out of existence within a single phase. But I need fast attacks for this. Oh, there we go! That was actually... Wait a second, I pressed Windows key. That is pure marathon luck. That happened to me 3 times so far only. That was so good. That is pure marathon luck. Thanks for Bless RNGs. These definitely helped.
I am grateful to you for... Thank you.
Yeah, sure. There we go. Okay, so that's still not wasted. Basically, this is extremely rare if you can kill him with only a single phase, because there's no way you can control the attacks. You can just click and hope that you're gonna get the fastest ones. If anyone understands French, please tell me what's being told in here, but so far, I know that this is like jumbled speech, but I'm not sure. It's just weird, but I think you know that already about the game. Okay, there we go, the fastest cycle as I can get. There we go. I wish I knew how to reproduce that every time when I fight with the best creation to slap it out of existence. There we go. That's so far not too bad RNG. It actually might be a very good time in the end. And if my mouse movements would be insanely precise, I might be able to squeeze into this part in the previous cycle, but I never did it before, so I don't really want to risk. My timing probably isn't too good, but okay, that was risky but good enough. I probably shouldn't do that because I touched the walls for a little bit too many times. Oh, I wonder if the planet will cross in the front. I want you to look at the planet in the front. If it will appear in here at any moment. No, but I think I'll be too fast, unfortunately. I'm sorry. Ah, damn. This lava is actually safe. I mean, safe as long as you're very fast. So I can just do that, get on the last platform right here. Oh, that's not the last one. Okay. Doesn't really matter. This lava on here with that cat spinning on it is actually not safe. It's a wall, so you need to be careful there. I checked it during practice today, actually. So that helps. Okay, and I absolutely hate this level. Because sometimes the projectiles in here arrange themselves in such a pattern that you can't really cross them too well. And this gate will close before you can get here, but that was good. And here a slide, there we go. And last level, okay, these lasers, you can just cross through them as long as you're fast. Now I have 32 lives, what's wrong? Oh, I know why, because I killed the best creation with a single phase, that's good. So we can't get through these cannons, so I have to wait for both of them and use that indent in here. I'm sorry. My cold is still catching up to me. Hopefully I got rid of my runny nose today. And here, obviously, I'll let you guess what's the last boss fight, because I think it might be pretty obvious now that you see all that. And here's a pretty interesting glitch. So I have to be careful not to die after I press all these exclamation points. That's still good. But that was a corner kill. Okay, here I need to be very careful not to die, because that will move the game forward. I need to stand exactly here, because for whatever, you are supposed to wait for a power up here, but for whatever reason, it appears here for a single frame for you to collect it, so we can just get it there and save like 7 seconds. I have no idea why does it work, but it just works. And I actually need to listen carefully here, because she might start healing here, which is exceptionally obnoxious. But seeing my RNG today, that shouldn't happen. That really shouldn't happen. There we go, that's 2. And you see this timer? This is essentially, for speedrun, this is essentially an additional projectile you have to avoid. Because if you don't, you lose like 7 seconds, I believe. I'm not really sure how many exactly. I really wish I could collect that live down there, but okay, it's good. I'm sorry for the I'm sorry for the bitrate, by the way, but I hope it's not that bad. Yeah, that's good. Right, that live in here, let me take it. I don't know why, but just to show you, she is healing. But as long as that's her last cannon, or like an ovary in that case, that's fine, because we can deal enough damage. And there we go, that's the first phase. That's not even her final form. Get ready for the best music. And since I have 19 lives, I can just move here and use 1 by 1 and damage her as fast as possible. There we go, that's a nice boss. You can clap now, that was it, that was it. Thanks. Seize the moment. Alright, now I go here. I was confused for a while, I had to look at the keys. I think that would be a good time for donations.
Shmurek donated $20. Hi Chazo. Greetings from the Polish music games community.
Hi there.
Good luck on the run.
Thanks. So far I've been having amazing luck, so it's pretty good. Okay, on this level I really tried to figure out what would be the fastest way to do it, and this is so far what I just figured out, just to do it with your first life, because in here, if you die, the cycles move forward a little bit, and I tried doing it with 1 death. That was not good enough. With 2, 3, 4 deaths, and that was still not good enough. So I'm not really sure if I want to waste 5 lives in here. So this is just the fastest way to do it that I'm willing to risk, especially during a marathon. So here, a simple horizontal movement there, and there we go. One movement here to skip the half of the level. Then move here. And in between these moving parts to skip the other half. There we go. The last boss, I mean the second to last boss, because this is gonna be the second to last, that we're gonna see is actually, you can soft lock right before that fight if you're not careful, but I found out what exactly causes it, so I know how to avoid it, fortunately. Surprisingly, you can't be too fast there, because if you're too fast during the Underworld -10, you can skip some triggers that you're not supposed to skip, and the camera is in the wrong place compared to where PUSS is, so you can't really move where you want to, and you respawn in the wrong place. So I need to be very careful right there. Once again, this casual nightmare, because the dolphin just covers your screen. There we go. I forgot how to read this. But if anyone knows, please let me know. this one's pretty interesting. Actually, the cycles on these moving parts are always different every time they cross you. So you somehow, to do it the fastest way, you somehow need to be able to predict how will they go. But it's not too bad still if you just read it on the fly. This last slide is very important, but that was actually the worst cycle to do it. Because in case of some moving objects, every time you hit them, you just die. You don't have the timer. You can't move away like from a wall. So that's exactly what happened there. Okay, this actually is... I have no idea why, but this level is always very difficult for me. Especially because, that's what I want to say, especially because there's just way too many moving walls in here that you can't move away from. Okay, and here I can't be too... No, wait, that's not the one yet. Okay, this one's very slow. Cycles are always the same, so you just need to memorize them. You can cross right now. And here you can cross right now. There we go. And this is basically an auto-scroller. You can't really move it too well by dying, because then you respawn where the save was. And that's not really too helpful in here. So I just memorize all the patterns in here because they are the same, they're easy to memorize. So I'll wait here. There we go, I can cross here. I'll move here very carefully not to get stuck in the corner because that happened to me way too many times. Okay, and here I can't be too fast because if I am, I will skip some triggers and softlock the game. And that almost happened, but that's fine. Point at the key, and there we go. We have to fight with the sea mistress using these bullet bills right here. And the way they work is just whenever you press an exclamation mark, you see where exactly will they come from, so we need to avoid them as well. And this is not too difficult, but sometimes I just mess it up too many times. And what can be exceptionally annoying is when there's a corridor in the walls in here you have to cross, and that's exactly where the bullet bill is about to go. So that can be very annoying right here. Okay, I could read it at the same time, but still. But it's not going too bad. Come on, I need some more, maybe 2 cycles. Okay, that was a corridor once again. Maybe 2 or 3 more cycles. Come on. How many lives do I have? 21. That's more than enough. Because this is the next boss. Okay, that's good. This is the next boss when I'm actually gonna abuse deaths. Because every time you die, you move the game slightly bit forward. So when I land on this dolphin... By the way, underwater levels. We all love underwater levels. I'm just gonna smash myself to a wall to skip the entire phase. How many lives will I need for this? It varies, but typically it's around 7. Come on. There we go. And that's it for the Sea Mistress. Need a ride? Okay, now that we have the help of all entities in here, I'm just gonna kill myself here. We finally unlock the gates of hell, and the first level is always the same, so I know the fastest way to do it. Which is, like, somehow to touch the last possible pixel of the portal in here. Which isn't unbelievably precise, but you need to do it like this. There we go. And hopefully RNG won't be too bad, because there are some levels which might be run killers, like this one. But as long as the cycles won't be too bad, as long as I know how to read them correctly, it would be very good. There's a different variation of this level, which doesn't have these moving objects in here, which is obviously way better, but thank you, RNG. I guess that's what I get for slapping the best creation within a single cycle. One more. Okay, thank you. There we go. Okay, that one is very difficult to see. But there we go, that was pretty fast. There is only one level on which almost all walls are moving that I really hope not to get ever. Because it is a run killer, but I practiced it way too many times to do something bad, but still. This one is pretty slow. I also tried to find a way to do it faster, and there is one. you can actually die a few times to make this blue elderly ghost cat appear on the screen right in the beginning, because his role is whenever you are stuck on some levels, he offers to take some of your lives, typically 1 or 2, in order to just bring you to the next level. And the time when he appears is not really consistent, so sometimes you might lose way too many lives for him to appear, so it's not really worth it. So this strategy might be a little bit too risky. Maybe if you're going for an amazing time, then you can do it, but other than that, it's just way too risky. Okay, here I'm gonna wait for the square to cross the corridor, which you can see by lighting it up here. There we go. Move in that way to avoid the projectiles, push the second timer. That's the life from the princess, but I'm not really sure if I can collect it. Oh, there we go. That was nice. That's pretty good. Except for locking me down from this corridor right there, I guess? No, it's moving up. Okay, that's fine. I forgot about this. But I need to read this place correctly to do it as fast as possible. Okay, that's not too quick, but it's still good enough. As long as I don't die in here, because sometimes RNG can be exceptionally bad, and these lava pieces that jump out on the rightmost part can kill you. Okay, this level is interesting because actually what you need to do is to follow the path. When you are on the rightmost part, when you're on the part on the right, you need to use the leftmost path. But when you are on the right, on the left, you need to use the rightmost one. Okay, I'll die here to remove the projectiles and then move like this. The corridors show here for a fraction of a second, so you can read them correctly. So I just need to do something like this. Oh, not like this. There we go. It is very, very interesting the first time you see it when you play casually. This again, that happens rarely. It's actually very, very rare to get the same level twice in the same chapter, but that one is not too bad. As long as I don't get the one that I hate the most, it's still good. I have no complaints. I'm having godlike RNG today, honestly. Wait for the spread to move here, and then I could potentially slide, but I really don't want to get stuck into these 5 or 6 corners right there. So let's play it safe and just move normally. It's not too slow, especially at the end of the level. This one is one of the run killers, but I'm gonna try to skip the save here to do it faster. It's gonna be 1, 2, now 3. That's the safe spot here. Okay, thank you. Now it's gonna be 1, 2, 3 cycle. I'm just talking to myself in here because I need to figure out how these lasers behave, because they all have their own cycles. There we go. That was very fast for that level, surprisingly. I guess I'm getting used to it. And here we have the final boss fight, which is obviously gonna be the thing that I described from the beginning, which is gonna be the devil. That's why we unlocked the hell in the first place. And the way we fight with him, he's gonna spawn, obviously we reply meow. Where's the god meow? There we go. The way you fight with him, you need to use these bombs to destroy these cat cultists, which are gonna change into purple balls of energy. I have no way to describe this. I'm sorry, I just played this game. I can't really say too much about it because it's an experience. But that's what you need to do. The bombs, the damage of these bombs increases with each cat cultist for whatever reason. So actually the only thing that matters in this first cycle is first, not to die, and second, to kill the last cultist using all 4 bombs. Because right now, when I'm gonna push all these 4, which have weird physics, towards him, he's still not gonna die. But the last one dies to 4 bombs, so he's the only one that matters in the end. Okay, weird physics. And this is also one of the most important places when you really don't want to collect the timer bonus power-up, because if you do, the bomb physics get extremely weird and impossible to manipulate, so you never want to do it here. Unless, of course, you're playing casually and you're having troubles with bullet hell parts, or you don't have enough lives. But this one isn't so bad. And the music here is great, especially. Wait, I should use one free bomb to show you the weird physics. Like, I'm gonna try to slam myself into a bomb in a certain direction. It's gonna move elsewhere because the PUSS is trying to move where the mouse is, and the mouse is moving a little bit too fast. I'm not really sure if that's frame rate dependent, but it might be. So maybe that's the key to it, but I never checked. Okay, that was pretty good. Here we go. This one will die with 8 bombs, I believe. But still, the last one is the one that matters. And as you can see, with the help of the princess, you don't really need to be extremely careful in here because you can do whatever you want. As long as you're at least trying to avoid everything. Okay, the last one didn't damage him. As long as you're at least trying to avoid projectiles, she's dropping enough lives for you to make do. I'm not really sure how many cycles you need to wait in here for each cut cultist to transform, but maybe it's the same every time, maybe it's like a timer-based thing. I'm not really sure. I never counted actually, even though I played this game for way too long, but I'm still having fun, even though RNG sometimes messes me up, to say the least. $22 lives, 21 lives is gonna be more than enough for the last phase, because the last phase is gonna be... I don't really want to spoil it because it's an experience, but I'm basically gonna not avoid everything there, so I just have to stockpile enough lives to have enough leeway to just focus on dealing damage to him. And I wonder if he's gonna spawn shields. I want to describe what shields are right now because then I maybe won't have enough time, but on the second phase, he sometimes spawns shields which are supposed to protect him, and every time you destroy a shield, there's a very deep bass sound. And for every shield you destroy, these sounds stack on each other and turn into this weird bass boosted version of that sound, which is very entertaining. That's the least I can say about it. Oh, that was good. I just need the last one. Alright, that was pretty good. And now I need to focus to move away from the middle of the scene. Of the screen when he's gonna spawn the last 4 bombs. Because if I don't do that, I might push them by accident. And I need to wait for this last cultist to appear. Avoid this timer bonus, obviously. Is that it? No, that's not it yet. Maybe after this one, I don't really remember, but I just need to move away from the middle as fast as possible, not to push anything accidentally. By the time he'll spawn 4 of them, along with the cat cultist. And please. Okay, there we go. Please, physics. That was nice. Okay. Oh, the best part of the game? Transform. Meow. Please don't ask me any questions about this. So it's not only his final form, it's also ours final form, and let's try to do it. And now I have mixed feelings because, okay, that's the first shield, that's what I was talking about. Listen to that bass sound. I'm not really sure if it's gonna be too loud right now, but... Okay, that wasn't too bad. Maybe if he spawns the second one, it's gonna be bad, but it's gonna be slower. So that's why I have mixed feelings, because if he doesn't do that, we will have the faster time. So let me just focus on him only, because I have too many lives to care. And time comes when his HP reaches 0. So it's gonna be in just a moment, unless he creates a shield. That's the second one. Let's listen to the bass. And time. Sub 50, that's very good. Sub 50 is a very good time. Okay, so if you have any questions about this game, my answer to all of them is yes. Because it's difficult enough to explain. And just to have a few words of farewell, thank you so much to everyone on ESA for having me here. This really is a huge honor to be able to play this for a charity in here, because this is not only my first ESA, but also my first so big offline event that I'm running on. So that was a very interesting experience. And that was the main game that I wanted to show. If you're interested in running it, please do so, because there are only 2 runners so far. But be ready for RNG. Just be ready for RNG if you plan to do that. Okay, so if you like what I do, you know where to find me. My tag is right there on the stream. So have fun on the rest of the ESA. Thank you so much for having me here.